okay. Human reason is very dangerous. Human reason is very dangerous. That's what we've been talking about on Thursday. We're going to be continuing talking about this because we are living according to human reason, whether we are aware of it or not. That is my reason for teaching on it, because it is very dangerous. On Thursdays, I prepare myself early, and then before I come, I always watch to kill the time. I watch Law and Order. Then I see episode of Law and Order today. I told you guys about how that everything is based upon human reason. The episode that I saw today, the individual killed a doctor with a hammer, bludgeoning him to death. He beat him with a hammer because his daughter had a type of disease, and the insurance company denied him, and it was based upon the insurance company evaluating whether he qualified for the insurance or not. One of the board of directors, or one of the members of the board of directors, voted against the insurance company approving the procedure for his daughter, which cost a lot of money. And in him voting, the vote was 3-2. He was one of the individuals that voted against his daughter having the procedure done. Cost a lot of money. But he voted against it. So he stole the company's cable van, and he kidnapped the guy, put him in the cable van, and then what he did was he drove him around and talked to him, and he couldn't convince him to change his mind. He was one of 3 people that cast the no vote for his daughter to have the procedure done. And so what he did was he hit him in the head with a hammer, and he killed him. Now it was 3 that voted against him, but he caught him, and he judged him according to his human reason. His human reason said, my daughter's life is more important than your life. Since that's the way I see it, I'm going to kill you. The guy, he had a wife and a daughter too. But human reason told him his daughter was more important. His daughter was more important than the doctors or the member of the board of directors' wife and his daughter. So he took action against the doctor because the doctor did not vote on his daughter having the procedure done by the insurance company. So he hit him in the head with a hammer. Human reason said, my daughter is more important than your wife and your daughter. That's how human reason thinks. That's equal. That just makes me angry, because that's the way our society is built. And the verdict of the trial, he went to trial, and it came back, the jurors came back with the verdict, and they found him. It was locked. So the judge ruled a mistrial, because half of them said that he was right in hitting the man in the head with a hammer because he voted against the procedure done by the insurance company against his daughter. So that was his justification for murder. His human reason was his justification for murder. Human reason was the justification for murder. He hit the man in the head with a hammer. He didn't kill the other two that voted against his daughter having the procedure. He killed him. And that's what I'm trying to get you guys to understand about human reason. You using your human reason to advance your family, you using your human reason to advance your life, that is very evil. That's why I told you bring your books. Thursday we're going to be talking about your thoughts. Human reason is evil, period. It's selfish. It only is concerned about itself. When I say human reason is concerned about itself, we will use mother and father, sister and brother, we will use our children as a cloak or a shield to hide the evil and the wickedness of our human reason. We use them as an excuse to say, this is why I'm doing it. I'm doing it for my daughter. I'm doing it for my son. I'm doing it for my neighbor. I'm doing this for my wife. I'm doing this for my cousin, my niece, my nephew. That's what we do. We use human reason. Thank you, Lord. We use human reason as an excuse. We use human reason and we use our family members as an excuse to get our agenda across. This is what I decided wanted to do because it was a decision he made. That's what Sam Waters kept saying. This guy made a choice. He made a decision, and he decided to bust this man in the head with a hammer because the man voted against the insurance adjuster passing a vote to have his daughter have this procedure done. His daughter was alive. His daughter's sitting there in the courtroom. But the guy cast a vote against his daughter having the procedure. But his daughter was sitting right there. She wasn't dead yet. He dead because he busted him in the head with a hammer. And he made that decision based on human reason. Human reason is evil. Human reason is selfish. Human reason looks out for self and self only. It may say, I'm doing this for my wife. No, you're doing it for yourself. It may say, I'm doing this for my daughter. No, you're doing it for yourself. That rose up in you. That is the decision and the choice you made that you decided that you were going to carry out in spite of what anybody said. That's how human reason is. There is none good. The Bible tells us there is none good. None. Agathos. We got two words for good. We got two words for good. We got two words for the word good. We got the word agathos. We got the word agathos. And we got the word kalos. Two words for good. We got two words for good. Two words for good. We got the word agathos and we got the word kalos. Those are the two words for good. Now, these two words has been ambiguously translated in the King James Bible. You got these two words, you got these two words, these two words, these two words, you got these two Greek words, these two Greek words, and two Greek words. We got two Greek words in the original text. And we do have the original text. We got two Greek words for the word good. But in the Bible, we got two words translated into one word. Translated. We got two Greek words translated. We got two Greek words translated into one word. Into one word. Two Greek words translated into one word. So as we read the scripture, we don't know whether the word is kalos or we don't know whether the word is agathos. And that is very tricky. That is very evil. That is very deceptive. Now, agathos is very important, right? Agathos is what God does. Agathos is what God does in us. That's what agathos is. That's the word agathos. That's what God does in us. That's what agathos is. That's one of the words for good. The other word for good is kalos. Kalos. Kalos is what he, that is God, we know that's the Holy Spirit, what he, that's the Holy Spirit, causes us to do for him. That's what Colossus is. Agathos is what God does in us. Kalos is what he, God, we know that's the Holy Spirit. What he does, what he causes us to do. What he causes, what he does. You does not do nothing. You can see up there, I put that up there so you can see you does nothing. All you are is the only thing you is an instrument. That's all you are. You just an instrument. That's all you are. You are not good. You are not good at all. All you are is an instrument that God is using. That's all we are. Nothing else. You're not good. You're not good. Because you know to do good and you don't do it. And so the Bible says, he that knoweth to do good and to do it not, to him it is sin. So you know to do good, but you can't do it. You know that you must and you should do good, but you cannot do good. Let's go to the book of James. Book of James, so you can understand this. Because many don't understand this scripture here, so I want to start off with this scripture right here to give you understanding what good is, to show you that you ain't never did good, and you can't do good. You cannot do good. Agathos is what God does. God does. It's what God does, not what you do. It's what God does in you. It's not what you do. It's what God does, not what you do. It's what God does, not what you do. It's what God does in us. Colossus is what God causes. He do and he causes us to do. That is what he causes us to do for him. So that's why it's called grace. That's why you get no credit for nothing. There's no merit. You get no reward for anything. You isn't a profitable servant. You're a sinner saved by grace. You're a sinner saved through divine influence. So your salvation is not even yours. You are saved. You are preserved. You are sozo. You are protected through divine motivation or divine influence. That's if you're born again, if you have the grace of God. If you think you're good, you're a very evil person. If you think you're good, you are a very evil person. If you ever thought that you were good, you are a very evil person. I don't care what anybody says. God says you are very evil to take his glory and credit to yourself for what he does in you and what he causes you to do. God says you are very evil and a wicked person. You practice blasphemy and stealing his glory when he does in you and what he causes you to do. The good, the beneficial, the beautiful, the things that are better in our life. God is the one that does it. James chapter 4. James chapter 4. James chapter 4. James chapter 4. For whence come wars and fightings among you? Come they not hence? That is of your lusts that war in your members. You lust and you have not. You kill. You desire to have and you cannot obtain. You fight in war, yet you have not because you ask not. You ask and you receive not because you ask kakas. You ask evil. The word amiss is the word kakos. The word is the word kakos. You act evil. That's how you act. You act evil. You act kakos. You ask kakos that you may consume what you ask for up on your lust. So anytime you ask for self, you ask kakos, you ask evil. Anything you ask God for self, you ask evil. You adulterous and you adulteress, know you not that friendship of the world is enmity with God. It's ektra. He see ektra. It's hatred. It's ektra. It's ektra. It's hatred. It's hatred. Don't you know that philia, friendship from the world, is hatred with God? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of God. Do you think that the scripture said in vain the spirit that dwelleth in us lusted to envy? But he giveth more divine influence upon the heart with this reflection in life. He giveth more grace. He give. That means you don't have it. That means you don't have influence. That means you're evil. He gives more grace. He causes you to do for him. He gives more grace. He is already, agathos is what God does in us. He's already working at us. Then he gives more grace to cause you to do something for him. Whatever you do for God, God causes it. God causes it. You don't get no credit for anything. Nothing at all. He gives more grace. Wherefore he said, God resisted the proud. He resists the proud. God resisted the proud. He anti-tasselmai. He resists the proud. That means to wage war against. He fight against the proud who think they're good, who steals his glory and says that they are good. He fight against you. That's what that word means. It means to fight against. It's anti-tasselmai. Let me make sure I got this word over here. We at the book of James, Timothy. Let me go to James, yeah. Yeah, anti-tasselmai, it means to rage oneself against. I had it right, it's anti-tasselmai. God resisted anti-tasselmai. God resisted. That means to range oneself against. God is opposite to you, so that makes you evil. That means to wage war against one. God fight against the proud. He's not on the proud side. But second time he used the word grace. But he gives divine influence with his reflections in life unto the humble. Again. But he gives more grace. I'm in verse number 6. Wherefore he says, God resists the proud, but give grace. We got 2 times in that verse where it says God got to give you the divine influence. He's the one that calls you to do what you do. You got two places in there, 2 times in that scripture. But he giveth more grace. Wherefore he says God resists the proud, but giveth grace. He giveth more grace and he gives grace. He gives divine influence upon the heart with reflection in life. That's what grace is. It's the word charis. He gives charis. He gives divine influence. Why do he give him divine influence? He gives him divine influence to cause us to do for him. To cause us to do for him. He gives it grace. Agathos is what God does in us. That's what God does in us. That's in our soul. In the soul, not in your flesh. God don't work in the flesh. He does this in the soul. As a matter of fact, I can put he does it in the mind. He does not do this in your old nature. He does not do this in old nature. He does not do this in you. He does not do this in you. That's you that went to college, you that went to high school, you that went to the army, you that went to college, you went to high school, you went to the army, you worked a good job, whatever you did in the world. That's your old nature. He don't work in that. He don't work in that. He worked in the mind. Agathos is what God does in us. That's when we're born again. We put that up there so we can understand But this don't mean that when you was out in the world, before you came to her predestination. That's only done to those that are born again. That's not done to any old man in the world. He works according to that man, according to that man's nature. Now we talking the new birth here. When I put this in there, we're talking about God working in a man that's born again. Those in the world believe that they does it themselves. They believe that everything that they have done in the world, they've done it themselves. Which we come to find out Sunday when we went over to the 10th chapter of the 10th chapter of Isaiah chapter 10, and we read how God works through men. All we is this instrument. But all our lives we've been thinking we have been good and we've been doing some good. No, God just worked with you according to your nature. He was the one that dictated all the situations and dictated all the circumstances. Because as it says in Isaiah 10, you didn't even know God. You did not do nothing when you was in the world. And since you've been in here, more than likely, based on your performance and your understanding of the Word of God, you did not do it for God's glory. You did it for recognition, so you can be recognized, so we can look up to you, so we can think well of you and believe that you are a Christian. So that's why many of us do and has done what we have done since we've been in this ministry. I know that's what we did when we was in the world, because you didn't even know nothing about predestination or the sovereignty of God. You didn't even know God. You knew about Him. You did not have, quote, and many of you still don't have personal relationship with Him. For when you know Him and have a personal relationship with Him, you realize, I say you realize that God has been the one and is the one that has done everything in this world, period. Many of us still don't realize that because we still looking for a, quote, pat on the back, and we look for recognition. We want to be recognized. We want to be told we did some good. We want others to speak well of us and want others to hear some things we have done in certain individuals' life. When we do anything, we want to be recognized and we want to be spoken of as being, quote, a good person. No, we already read in the sovereignty, we read in the bondage of the will, how God works through evil men to accomplish His purpose. We read that. I'm going to be reading out of the sovereignty of God tonight in a few minutes. But we already know that God, those of us that are truly born again and truly understand and know God, that have a true personal relationship with Him, not a carnal relationship with Him, because carnal believers believe they do something good. And now we come into a realization, and it's very, very harmful and detrimental to our lives. It's very hurtful to us to realize, I ain't never done nothing good. I don't want to hear that. No, you have never done anything good. How can you, being evil, give those gifts to your children? That's what Jesus said. How can you, being evil, you have never did anything good, you can't do nothing good, you will not do nothing good. The only good that's going to be done is the coloss. That's what God causes us. He is the one, He is the cause. And what God does in us. It is God which worketh in you both to will and to do. Both to will and to do. We're going to be talking about that Sunday because we still think we're doing something good. You ain't never did anything good. The gifts you gave to your children, the education, the food you fed them, the clothes you bought, those were evil gifts. Because they come from the world and the world is cursed. See, you didn't know that at the time you were doing it. So you were stealing God's glory, believing that you were doing something good at the time that you was educating them, at the time you bought them a pair of shoes, at the time you bought them a pair of pants. No, you unprofitable servant. You was doing your duty. But in your mind, based on your education from the United States of America, which didn't do nothing but corrupt you, that's all it did. That's all education in the world did was corrupt you. You thought that you were being beneficial when you was being a good mother and a good father and a good uncle and a good auntie. And all the time, you were being evil. I read this to you before, but I want you to understand it again. I want to read it one more time, because this is what I'm basing this on. This is human reason. And it's talking about education in the world. That's what it's talking about, is education in the world. What education in the world does to us. And I read this last week. I want to read the whole thing, but I don't have time. But I'm going to read the part of it that I read before. It's talking about being educated in the world. It's talking about being educated in the world. It says, now according to the divinely constituted order of the world, the time we know comes for all children when their entire dependence and reliance upon their parents must cease. The time comes when they must pass from under the eye of their parents and walk alone. And it is expedient for them that this should be so, as it is expedient for children, that at first they should be carried in the arms of their mothers, that then they should walk in leading strings, with some other like support, so should learn by little and little to walk alone. That's what God told Israel. He said, now you've been through this wilderness. I done brought you out of Egypt. Now it's time for you to walk alone. I brought you forth on eagle wings. That's what he told him in the 19th chapter of the book of Exodus. I brought you forth, I carried you on eagle wings. I gave you the illustration before. The eagle will take her eaglets, fly up to the top of the mountain. She will take a little eaglets and put them on her wings. She will take a little eaglets, and put them on the wings. She'll go to the top of the mountain. She'll jump off the top of the mountain, and she will fold her wings in, so her little eaglets can learn how to fly and survive on their own. Many of you haven't learned that yet. You haven't learned how to survive and fly on your own. You're still dependent on man. You're still dependent on man. Your confidence is still in your flesh, in man. As long as your confidence in your flesh, your confidence will be in man. As long as you have confidence in old nature, you're always going to depend on man, because the old nature leads you to man. As long as you have confidence in your flesh and your old nature, you will always depend on human reason, because old nature is human reason, and human reason leads to human reason. Like begat like. That's a universal law in the book of Genesis. Talk that with me. Like begat like. If you don't, whatever you like, that's what you're going to be like. Whatever you like, that's what you're going to want to be around. That's what you're going to be, that's what you're going to gravitate to. That's what you're going to be drawn to. Like begat like. So long as you're in old nature, as long as you're in human reason is being a child. As long as you're a child, you're going to think like a child, you're going to walk like a child, you're going to understand like a child. So you're going to keep running to your mama and your daddy who've been taking care of you all your life, America. You're going to run to your mama and your daddy, the United States Senate President. You're going to keep running to man, your mama and your daddy. That's who your world is your mama and your daddy bring you forth and they take care of you. You're going to keep running to your mama to take care of you. That's what children do. Talk back with me. Amen. When you're a child, you're going to think like a child. You talk like a child. You're going to understand like a child. You act like a child. So you're going to keep running to your mom every time you need some help, ain't you? Yes, yes you will. Yes, you keep running to your mom. You die like that, you're going to go to hell. You're in human reason. It's time for us to grow up. That for a long time they should, at first they should be carried in the arms of their mothers, that then they should walk in leading strings with some other like support. So should learn by little and little to walk alone. Let's look at that in Exodus, to walk alone. Let's look at that in Exodus. Let's go to Exodus chapter 19. Let's go to Exodus chapter 19. Let's go to Exodus chapter 19. Exodus chapter 19. We go to Exodus. We're in Exodus chapter 19. I'm going to go ahead and do this evening so we can understand. Exodus chapter 19. Amen. Exodus chapter 19. In the third month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim, were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mountain. Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mount, saying, Thus shall you say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, You have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now it's time for you to walk alone. That for a long time, they should do everything, that's the children, in strict obedience, according to the commands of their parents, as though they had no will of their own. And that's how a child is in the home. In the home, the child has no will of his or her own. So the parent is fulfilling their will in the child. Josiah and Elijah don't have no will in my home. They do the will of Dennis. That's the will they do in the home, which is the spiritual will they're doing, not a physical will, because I'm raising them based upon the word of God. In our homes, we was doing an evil will. And when you raise your children, you raise them with an evil will. We think, money, success in the United States of America is good. We think success in the United States of America is good. We think success in the United States of America is good when it's evil. I was looking at the DSM book today, Diagnostics of Mental Disorder, right? Something like that. I should have brought it. I was reading. Because they made a reference to DSM-4 while I was watching Law and Order. So I went and got my DSM-4. They don't took homosexuality out of DSM-4. They don't made a mental decision that homosexuality is not evil. So it's not in the DSM-5. So I went and got my I got DSM-4 and I got DSM-5. So I went and got my DSM-5 and I looked at it, and there are a lot of changes they made from DSM-4. And so Ronnie had hit me. I said, hold on. That's how they run in America. They run in America through the minds of men. DSM-4. That book is for mental disorders that determine what state of mind is in, what kind of disorder is in. Boy, you would be in trouble, Glenn, because I was looking at you the way you is right now. You would be in trouble. They invite you, boy, you would be in some hospital or something. Because you got a bad sleep disorder. And I was looking at it, I said, man, let me look and see what this is. And I looked at it, son, you'll be in trouble. According to them, you're in trouble, son. You got sickness, you got a disease. According to their book, according to their mind, according to their human reason. They will have you locked up. They will have you in the hospital running work on you. Everything in there, Ronnie, is based on human reason. You cannot analyze the mind of a man. And I was looking at that today. Some of you will be in trouble. So it's a lot of things that they have took out of DSM-4 that's not in DSM-5. And I'm going through it now. I'm reading. I'm defining the words one by one and taking my time with it. Then I'm going to come back to you. Then I'm going to be able to teach it to you. I'm taking my time. Because it just hit me today. All of that is human reason. All of it is human. Everything is based on human reason. I would have a problem. Based on the way that I raised Josiah and Elijah, they would say I got a problem. They would say I have child abuse. I'm labeled, reading that book, what I read today, they would say I'm abusing the boys. The way we raise them based on Christianity, they say that's child abuse. The way you raise them, and many of y'all are raised like I raised, strict with the word of God. I'm going to read it again. In strict obedience, according to the commands of their parents. That's what I demand, strict obedience. I don't play. That's what God commands. God commands strict obedience. That's why the world hates the word of God, because God said, you do it this way, that's the way you do it. You don't do it this way, you in trouble. I'm going to get back to this Colossus show. God said, you do it this way. This is the way I want you to do it. I say, do it exactly like I tell you to do it. That's what I want. But America don't believe in strict obedience for children. We believe in strict obedience when we want our will done and our child to make us feel good. Now, you listen to what I said. When we was in our homes, we demanded strict obedience in our homes so that our children listen what I say, so our children can go out in the world and make us proud, and the world can speak well of us. That's why white folks educate their children like that. I was listening to sports. I was listening to a sports announcer last night, Ronnie, and one of the sports announcers said, "Your children do everything that you tell them to do." He said, "Yes, they do exactly what I tell them to do." He said, "No, they don't." He said, "Yes, they do. I write the checks." So we got a quid pro quo going on in this house. You either do exactly what I say, or else you don't get no money. I don't do nothing for you. That's how we raise our children like white folks, and that's how we have done. Quid pro quo. They don't know nothing. And now they out there, they can't even survive on their own every 5 months, every 6 months. Mom, what should I do? Dad, what should I do? Mom, what should I do? Dad, what should I do? Mom, what should I do? And then we keep checking on Marita every 5 months, every 6 months, every 2 months to make sure they're doing it exactly like we will them to do it. We don't put them out there with our evil will in us, and now we got to try to make sure they continue to walk in our evil will. So they demand strict obedience in the old nature. In strict obedience. This is human reason I'm reading you, not nothing spiritual. So don't get it twisted when you hear it. I'm reading you the evil mind of men. What I'm reading now is the evil mind of men. I'm reading human reason. So you can understand what I'm reading. In strict obedience according to the commands of their parents. The parents not good, as though they had no will of their own. So on the other hand, as they advance, we're talking about children, toward years of discretion, is it expedient that the human helps? Now they're going to get more human reason to help them. Human help, not spiritual, I said human, on which they have been accustomed to lean, completely should one by one be taken away from them. As they grow, the human helps, but one by one be taken. The first human help is the man. Constant watchfulness and directions are succeeded for a while by occasional watchfulness and direction. Commands are superseded by counsel. Where they're going to get the counsel from? Now they're going to go to school, they're going to get it from their teachers. After a time, we no longer have the counsel of our natural monitors, mom and dad, but are left to the exercise of our own judgment, our own human reason, and to the advice of some other friends, their human reason. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Human reason rules in this society. Do y'all really truly understand what I'm saying? This is what makes the society evil, because it's ruled by human reason. Now, Mom, they call it good. America calls it good. God calls it evil. Say, you adulterers and adulterers, don't you know the friendship of the world is enmity with God? We call it good. And then in Isaiah chapter 5, he said, let's go to Isaiah chapter 5. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 5. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 5. And this is what we do, Mom. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 5. 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 Amen. Now you run it. Yes. Run it. Yes. In Israel, now I want you to understand, they ain't had no crack. When we read this, they ain't got no crack, and no drugs, and no rap music, no rock and roll. When we read this, okay? They ain't got no cell phone and iPhone, okay? I want you to understand that when we read this. Let's look at Isaiah chapter 5, verse number 8. 6 woes upon Israel. Woe to them to join house to house. That's the first rule. So we teach that in society. Buy your house, buy you 2, 3 houses. Right? We teach that in society. We teach that. We teach that. Buy your house, buy your mama house. Hello? Buy your basketball player, you get your house in California, you get your house. You got your house in LeBron James in California, you got one in Akron, you got one in Washington. Wherever you go, you got your house. I got me a house in 4 cities. I got me a house in 5 cities. Hello? Woe to that. We teach that. And we say that's good. God say whoa. In our society, right, we say that's good. We say 2, 3 houses is good. We say that's good. We doing it for the church. God say whoa, so you ain't doing it for the church. I don't care what your human reason tell you. Well, this house is for the church. It ain't for the church. Because God say whoa to you to join house to house. So you can't have 2 houses and 3 houses say, well, this house is mine, this house is mine. We bought this house for the church. God say no, woe to you. See, we say it's for the church, no about it. Preacher say he got 2 houses for the church. One for him, one for the church. God say, whoa. Jesse Jackson had house in Chicago, then he had a house in Washington when he go to Washington. God say, whoa. Well, we say, we don't buy a house, we get these 2 houses, we don't get another house for the church. No, you ain't doing nothing for the church. You don't get that house, you ain't going to do nothing for the church. Is you going to get the church the money? Is you going to get the church the mortgage you collect? No, you don't give $100, $150, $200. Give them the whole mortgage. If the church is, that means it don't belong to you. You bring the deed and you give it to the preacher. I said you bring the deed, you give it to the preacher. You turn it over to the preacher. I'm the head of the church. I'm the one to run the church. Hello? Oh, okay. So we said we could have 2 or 3 houses, Ronnie. God say, whoa. One to them that join house to house, lay field to field. Buy you all the property and get all the land you can. There you go right there. We say ain't nothing wrong with having a lot of land and a lot of property. God say, whoa. God say, whoa. You can't have a lot of land. And God say, whoa, when you join house to house. America say they best buy your house on this block. Get your house right there. Let's fix this house up and we go rent it and sell it. God say, no, don't do that. God say, whoa. We say it's all right. God say, whoa. Because that thought is evil. You're adulterer and adulterers. No, you're not. The friendship with the world is enmity with God. Well, I'm doing this for the church. No, you're not. Stop lying. You're not doing it for the church. You're doing it for the church. You're giving money to the church. You're giving everything to the church. You're lying, evil, wicked individual. How you doing it for the church? You give it to the church then. That's a lie. That's a lie. Amen. They got all this land. All that land he don't bought over there. John had it. But it's for the church. It ain't open yet. God did it, but it ain't open yet. Almost 3, 4, 5 years. It ain't open yet. Still over there working on it. You're on the house to house, field to field. Meeting down here on the west side. Meet over here on 76. Then we meet over here. Everywhere we go, we raise 30,000, 20,000, 40,000. And then we teach our children the same thing. Get your house, get you some land. Get you 2, 3 houses. Own something in America. God said, whoa. We say it's good. We say it's agathos. We say it's kalos. But it says only one word in the Bible for good, Ronnie. So they just say it's good, not knowing what they're talking about, Ronnie. You've been going around all your life thinking that you've been good. Which good have you been? Have you been agathos? Or have you been kalos? You ain't been neither one of them. You don't even know what good is. You base good on the definition that the United States of America gave you for good. What is good? Oh, I send my children to school, I buy them clothes, we got a house, we got an apartment, I feed them. No. That's your duty, you unprofitable servant. You have done that which is your duty. You don't get no thanks for doing your duty. You don't get no thanks for feeding your child. You don't get no thanks for buying clothes for your child, providing a home for a place for your child to sleep. You don't get no thanks for that. Warn to them that join house to house, to lay field to field, and Look, till there be no place that they may, till there be no place that they may be placed. Look out, look out, look out. There you go right there. Let there be place for them. You don't want to live around them niggas. And that's what we teach our children. We taught them that. We taught them that. We taught them that. And they out there taking advice for somebody else's friends now. They out there taking advice from somebody else now. See, they don't left you. That they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth. In my ear said the Lord of hosts of truth. Look at this. Many houses shall be desolate. And yes, he is. And they are. There's a whole lot of houses out there that's desolate. Amen. Even great and fair houses without inhabitant. And they just sitting there. He said it's just going to be houses out there just sitting there. Those who raise their children that way, he said, I'm taking your houses from you too. No, you didn't lose your house. You didn't lose your house. You're a lie. I lost my house. I gave my house up. You're a lie. God took it. That's what he did. You didn't lose nothing. You didn't give up nothing. God took it. We ain't lost nothing. Sovereignty of God. I'm going to stop that, the lies that's going around in here through your mind. No, you didn't. You didn't lose it. God took it. Because you thought you was going to be alone. You thought you was better. Yes, 10 acres of vineyard shall yield one barrel. I'm not going to send rain. I'm not going to let the land produce. And the seed of the homer shall yield an ephah. Woe to them to rise up early in the morning that they may follow strong drink. They like their vacations in the Bahamas again. They continue until night. Till wine inflamed them. The harp, the viol, the tabret, the pipe, the wine, rap music, rock and roll. They got all the music going on. Are in their faces. Hello? But they regard not the work of the Lord. God is not in their thoughts. They ain't thinking about God. They don't respect the work of the Lord. Neither consider. They don't even think about the operation of his hand. They don't even know that it's God the one that's doing it. And that's what I'm saying. So when you was out there doing it, when you was raising you didn't know that was God was doing it. You thought you was good. They thought they was good. You didn't know God. We didn't. We didn't know God. My parents didn't know God. We didn't know him. No. Therefore, my people are going into captivity because they have no knowledge. They didn't know him, did they? No, they did not. Just like you didn't know him. Just like we didn't know him. And their honorable men are famished. Their multitude dried up with thirst. Therefore, hell enlarged herself. Lord, have mercy. Therefore, hell hath enlarged herself and opened her mouth without measure. And their glory, their multitude, their pomp, and he that rejoices, all of them go to hell. There you go right there. LeBron James going to hell. Steve Curry going to hell. Stephen Curry going to hell. Beyonce going to hell. Jay-Z going to hell. The mean man shall be brought down. The mighty man shall be humbled. The eyes of the lofty shall be humbled. But the Lord of hosts shall be exalted in judgment. And God that is holy shall be satisfied in righteousness when he sent them to hell. Then shall the lambs feed after their manner. The waste places of the fat ones shall strangers eat. Woe unto them that draw iniquity with cords of vanity, uselessness, and sin. They draw sin, as it were with the cart rope. They say, let him make speed and hasten his work that we may see it. Come on, God, I thought you was going to destroy the world. Come on, do what you're going to do. And let the counsel of the Holy One of Israel draw nigh and come. Let the word come forth, that we may know it. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. How can you, being evil, be good? How can you, being evil, be good? Woe unto America, woe unto the families Woe unto your neighbor to call you good and you evil. You call your neighbor good and your neighbor evil. Woe! Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. That put darkness, that put the old nature, they put darkness for light, light for darkness. They put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine, and men of strength to mingle strong drink, which justify the wicked folk of war and take away the righteousness of the righteous. Therefore, as the fire devoured the stubble and the flame consumed the chaff, so their root shall be as rottenness. Everything that come out of you, no good. The blossom shall go up as dust, no rain, no fruit, because they have cast away the law of the Lord of hosts and despised the word of the Holy One of Israel. They hate God. Friendship with the world is enmity with God. Therefore is the anger of the Lord kindled against his people. He hath stretched forth his hand against them, and have smitten them, and the hills did tremble, and the carcass were torn in the midst of the streets. And for all this, his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. He ain't finished. He not finished. He not finished. He not finished.
Amen.
He not finished. Constant watchfulness and direction not succeeded for a while by occasional watchfulness and direction. What I'm reading you about is what we just read in the 5th chapter of the book of Isaiah. This is what I'm reading now. Commands are superseded by counsel. After time, we no longer have even the counsel of our natural monitors. Mom and daddy is gone. And to the advice of such friends as the course of life may bring across our path. Is not this what happened to Solomon? Is this not what happened to Rehoboam, brother? Yeah, y'all don't be remembering nothing. Yeah, this is what happened to Rehoboam. Yeah, this is what happened to Rehoboam. Y'all don't know where I'm going? You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You ought to be ashamed. First Kings.
Amen.
First Kings. This happened to Rehoboam. Yes, he did. First Kings chapter 12, and Rehoboam went to Shechem. For all Israel had come to Shechem to make him king, and it came to pass when Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt, that they sent and called him, and Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel, and spake to Rehoboam, saying, Your father made our yoke grievous, now therefore make you the grievous service of your father, and his heavy yoke which he put upon us lighter, and we will serve you. He said unto them, Depart yet for 3 days, then come again to me. And the people departed. King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon, his father, while he yet lived, and said, How do you counsel that I may answer this people? They spake to him, saying, You will be a servant. Don't nobody want to serve nobody. Everybody want to be served, Ronnie. This is what the problem was with the disciples. Lord, who shall be the greatest among us? He said, the Son of Man come not to serve, to be served, but to give us, but to be a servant. He did not come to be ministered to, but to be a minister. And they spake unto him, saying, If you will be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them, and answer them, and speak good words to them, then they will be your servants forever. But he forsook the counsel of the old men which they had given him, and consulted with his friends that were grown up with him and which stood before him. And I just told you that. What I'm reading to you here is exactly what is in the Bible. Exactly. Yeah. What I just read, after a time, we no longer have even the counsel of our natural monitors. He didn't even want to follow us no more. So I just read, but are left to the exercise of our own judgment and to the advice of such friends as the course of life may bring across our path. So now we're separated from mom and dad. Don't you think they out there doing what you taught them when they was young? Is you a fool? Do you think our children is actually out there living the way that you taught them when you was in the house with them? If you was, you a damn fool. You're a damn fool if you think your children is out there in the world right now as I speak to all of us adults out there and they doing exactly what you told them to do when they was in the house with you. You're a fool. You're a fool. Something's wrong with you. Something's literally, physically wrong with you. I need to get that DSM book, volume 5, and analyze you. Do a diagnosis on you. If you think they're doing what you told them to do and going to continue to do it when they're out of your sight, you is a damn fool. You actually think that.
Yeah. Yep.
Go to the book of Matthew. You dumb. Something wrong with you. You think your child doing what you told them to do and taught them and what you taught them in the old home when they get out of your eyesight. I got a bridge down in Brooklyn. You want to buy it? I'm at Matthew 20:20. Come on, y'all, I got to move. I'm at Matthew 20:20. Are you there? Amen. Amen. In Matthew 20:20. Matthew 20:20. This ain't what I want. I want to read it.
28.
This ain't the one I want. I said it, but I'll read it. I see that. I said this is not the one I want. That's not the one I want. I said when I was reading it. It's not what I want. It's not what I want. It's not what I want. Hey. Oh, I know where it's at. I know where it's at. I know what I want. Matthew 18. Matthew 18. That's what I want. Matthew 18.
Amen. Amen.
Matthew 18. Amen. At the same time came the disciples unto Jesus, saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? Jesus called a little child to him and sent him in the midst of them and said, verily I say unto you, except you be converted and become as a little child, you shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Ain't no greatest in the kingdom of heaven. You got to become like the little child and be taught. Ain't no greatest. I said I'll read this, I'm going to go ahead and read it. This is not what I wanted, but I found it. That was Matthew 18. I was talking about the greatest. This is talking about Zebedee's sons. I'll go ahead and read it. Let's look at verse number 20. Then came to him the mother of Zebedee's children with her sons, worshiping him and desiring a certain thing of him. And he said unto her, what will you? She said unto him, grant that my 2 sons may sit, the one on the right hand and the other on the left in your kingdom. Verse number 24, we're skipping all that because for time's sake. And when the 10 heard what the mother said, they were moved with indignation against the 2 brethren. But Jesus called them unto him and said, we'll be teaching this. You know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them, and they that are great exercise authority upon them. But it shall not be so among you. Whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister. And whosoever will be the chief among you, let him be your servant. Even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister and to give his life a ransom for many. We don't teach our children now. We teach our children to be greater than America. Teaching them to go out there and become a great damn sinner. I mean it like I said. That's what we teach them. You go out there now, you become the greatest doggone sinner you can become. You get all the land, you get all the money you can. You become the greatest sinner you can become. You make sure you become a friend of the world. We teach them to be the enemy of God. Teach our children to become God's enemy. Human reason teaches to be the enemy of God. That's the name of this teaching. Human reason teaches us to be the enemy of God. You come out there and you become great. You become somebody. Jesus said, that shall not be among you. After a time, we no longer have even the counsel of our natural monitors, mother and father, but are left to the exercise of our judgment and to the advice of such friends as the course of life may bring across our path. And ain't this what we teach our children?
Yes.
She asked kakas, didn't she? Yes, she did. She asked for the world. She asked kakas. She asked so she could consume upon her love. She wanted her boys to be somebody. She wanted her two sons to be somebody. And she thought the kingdom of God was in the world, didn't she? Yes, she did, because that's all she could ask. Ain't no Holy Spirit. She is not born again. I'm going to read it again. Then came to him the mother. She ain't been following him. She don't even know him. That's what we ask. God, make my child great in the world. Act to consume upon your own lust, your adulterers, your adulterers and adulterers. Know you not that friendship with the world is enmity with God. Any man to be a friend of the world is the enemy of God. And what did Jesus say in John 18:36? My kingdom is not of this world. Love not the world, neither the things that any world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. This woman has the world in her. Go to John chapter 4. 1 John chapter 4. 1 John chapter 4. Quick. 1 John chapter 4. 1 John chapter 4. Are you there? 1 John chapter 4, verse number 1. Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits, whether they are of God, because many false prophets are gone out into the world.
Amen.
Hereby know ye the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses, homologeo, that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh is of God. And every spirit that confesses not that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh is not of God. This was a saying against the Gnostics because they believed that all matter was evil. They believed that all matter was evil. So they said if Jesus came in the flesh, he had to be evil because all matter was evil. Every spirit that confesses not that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh is not of God. And this is the spirit of Antichrist, of which you have heard, that it shall come, and even now already is in the world. Antichrist was in the world in AD 90. You are of God, little children. Look at this, y'all. You are of God, little children, and have overcome them. Who is them? The false prophets in verse number 1. Because greater is he that is in you. That's the agathos, is what God does in us, and the kalos is what he causes us to do for him. It's God working it. That's what makes you greater than them that's in the world, Mom. That's what makes you greater. That's what makes you greater. It's the agathos and the kalos that God is doing in you, Ronnie. That's what makes you greater. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. They are of the world, for that reason speak they of the world. Didn't his mama speak of the world?
Yes,
she did. And the world heareth them. Did the world hear her? Did the world hear her? Yes. I asked the question, did the world hear her?
Yes.
No, the world did not hear her. Jesus wasn't of the world. He did not hear her.
No, he didn't even reply to her.
He didn't hear her. Yes, he did reply to her, but he didn't hear her. No, he did not, because he didn't make them great in the world. She wanted them to be great. Then came to him the mother of Zebedee's children with her sons, worshiping him and desiring certain things of him. He said unto her, what wilt thou? She said unto him, grant that these my two sons may sit, the one on the right hand and the other on the left, in your kingdom. But Jesus answered her and said, you know not what you ask. You don't know what you're talking about. So he didn't hear her. Hello?
Amen.
Told y'all skipping that part. Don't y'all hear that?
Yes.
5. I'm at 1 John 4:5. They are of the world. Therefore speak they of the world. And that's what she did. And the world heareth them. And that's what the world hears. The world hear you when you speak to the world. We are God. He that knoweth God hear us. He that is not of God heareth not us. Hello?
Amen.
Hereby know we the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. Anybody that don't hear us and you telling the word of God, they don't hear you. They don't understand what you're saying. You know they are the what?
The world.
You best believe they are the world.
Man.
Anybody don't hear me when I preach? That's why I told y'all, I don't preach to flesh and blood. I don't preach to the world. I don't preach to no flesh and blood. You don't hear me, you don't understand what I'm saying, that's because you are the world. This make you sad and make you despondent and discourage you, that means you are the world. This upset you, make your head drop, and you feel bad about yourself, that's because you are the world.
Man.
Such is the order which God has appointed for the life of man. Just because God appointed it, that don't make it good, do it? This order is expedient. We know that it must be so, seeing that God has arranged it. It don't make it good because he arranged it. He uses it for its glory. And we can't perceive moreover why it is so. Not because it is the glory, look at it. Not because it is the glory of man to have a will of his own. That's not the glory of man. What is man supposed to glory in? I don't know. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 9. I don't know what man is supposed to glory in. What is man supposed to glory in? Huh? Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 9. Go to Jeremiah chapter 9. What is man supposed to glory in? Jeremiah chapter 9.
Amen.
Jeremiah chapter 9 and verse number 24.
Amen.
Jeremiah chapter 9 verse 24.
Amen.
Verse 23. Thus said the Lord, let not the wise, Jeremiah 9:23. Thus said the Lord, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches. But let him that glory in this, that he understands and knows me, that I am the Lord, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, said the Lord. Just because he ordained it, that don't make it good. Only thing we can glory in is the Lord. We can't glory in no accomplishments you make in the world, although God ordained it. God's been good to me. No. He gave you that so he can send you to hell. The mouth of hell has enlarged itself. That's why he ordained it for you in your life. So he can exercise judgment on you. That's what he delights in, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
We know that it must be so, seeing that God has ordained it. And we think because God has ordained it, that makes it good. God's been good to me. No. The tabernacles of robbers prosper. Look what Jeremiah says since we over there. Look at Jeremiah chapter 12. This is my book, y'all. This is my book. Look at Jeremiah chapter 12. Are you there?
Amen.
Are you there?
Amen.
Are you there?
Amen.
Are you there?
Amen.
Righteous are you, O Lord, when I plead with you. Yet let me talk with you of your judgment. Now I'm going to read it one more time. Righteous are you, O Lord, when I plead, when I hold a controversy and complain. You righteous when I debate with you. That's what plead means. It's the word read. R-I-Y-B means to complain or to debate. Hold a controversy. Jeremiah couldn't understand why things was going the way they was. Not only did he didn't do that, but the Asaph, he did it too. In Psalm 73, we're going to read that too. And we think that because God ordained it and arranged it, make it good, that God is blessing these people. Look what Jeremiah said. Righteous are you, O Lord, when I plead with you. Yet let me talk with you of your judgment. Wherefore do the way of the wicked prosper? Why you let that happen? For why are all they happy that deal very treacherously? They only look out for themselves. They join house to house, field to field. They tell their children they want them to be great. Get you somewhere and get along, get away from them niggas. They treacherous. Why do they prosper? It said, thou hast planted them, yes, they have taken root, they grow, yet they bring forth fruit. You are near in their mouth and far from their what? But you, O Lord, knowest me, you have seen me and tried my heart toward thee. Pour them out like sheep for the slaughter. Prepare them for the day of what?
Slaughter.
Amen. Look at verse, let's go over to Job 12 and 6. Look at these. I didn't look at these in the wrong. Look at Job 12 and 6. Look at Job 12 and 6. And we think just because they prosper, we think God's been good to them. The Lord is blessing. Yeah, okay. He sure is. He is blessing. That look for the slaughter. 12:6. Are you there?
Amen.
The tabernacles of robbers prosper, and they that provoke God are what?
Secure.
Into whose hand God bring what?
Abundance.
Look at 21 and 7. Yes, he does.
Amen.
I mean, they're going to what is happening? Hell is enlarging itself. That's what's happening. When God doing that, hell is enlarging itself. These scriptures let us know hell is enlarging itself. Look at 21 and 7. Wherefore do the wicked live, become old, yes, and are mighty in power? God preparing them for the day of slaughter. That's why. Look at Psalms 37 and 1. Psalms 37 and 1. Go to Psalms 37 and 1. Psalms 37 and 1. Psalms 37 and 1. Fret not yourself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herb. Don't even worry about it. They prosper. Now let's go to Psalm 73. Psalm 73. They prosper now. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't be envious at it. Oh, no. Don't be envious at it. Psalm 73. Don't be envious at it. Watch what it says. Truly, God is good to Israel. So he can't be good to the world and Israel at the same time. That's why I say, truly, God good to Israel. He's not good to the world and Israel at the same time. He only good to Israel. What is the good God is to Israel? Agathos is what God does in us. Kalos is what he causes us to do for him. That's how God is good to Israel. God is good to Israel is when God does in us good, and when he causes us to do good for him. That's when he's good to Israel. He's not good to the world. He fattened them up for the slaughter. The mouth of hell is enlarging herself.
Yes.
Truly God is good to Israel, that is to such as are of a clean heart. Because everybody in Israel don't have a clean heart. Everybody in Israel, their mind is not pure. Their mind is not clean. Their mind is not clean. When you say heart, is talking about the mind. You still got them evil thoughts while you sitting here. And that's what I'm going to be talking about Sunday, God's will. And I've been trying to teach y'all that and tell you guys that. You sitting with them evil thoughts in you, you going to hell. You die with them 1972, 76, 69, 82, 83 thoughts in your mind. You die, remember a long time ago, man, I remember I did this, and when I was back to 72 and 60, you died like that, you going to damn hell. Don't you know that's damn darkness? You was in sin back there. You should want that out of your mind, man. You stole from that job. Hey, giving that stuff away. You was drinking on that job the way y'all was. Man, y'all should want that out of your mind. And you think that's good. I wish all of it couldn't be erased out of my memory. And you think, but when I was down when I was young, I had $50,000, I drove a Cadillac, had this much money, man, I was out there, man, I remember. Nigga, you a fool, that's dogs. I was out there, I was good. I was rolling $100,000 in my pocket, man. I was out there, man. I remember, man, all night long, man, I get drunk, man, and go home, man. I was paying all my bills and paying, I still, man, don't you know that was darkness? Why you boasting and bragging and sin? Sin. You was sin. You had no knowledge of God. You was in sin. And you was calling that evil good. Man, that's a good nigga right there. Man, that nigga ain't no good. And you then they meet you, hey man, what's happening? Hey man, how you doing, man? Man, nigga, you was a good nigga, man. You say, when you supposed to say, no, I wasn't, man, that was sin. You don't give God no glory. You don't give God no glory. You meet them old friends, you give God no glory. You give God no glory, but you sit here with me and say amen and read the book. Then you meet your old friends on the street, those you went to high school with, and you know an old neighborhood, and you give God no glory. You ain't talking about God is good to you. Your heart ain't clean. If your heart were clean, you would say, no, man. If your heart and your mind was clean, your words would be clean when they come out of your mouth. Because when they make those, give you those accolades and make those praises towards you, you'll rebuke them for. Because your heart and your mind clean now, you know what they speaking is evil. They calling that evil you did good. God is good to Israel, to such as are of a clean heart and a clean mind, clean thoughts, clean understanding. But as for me, my feet were almost gone, my steps well nigh slipped. He was in darkness, for I was envious at the foolish. What did he tell us? He said, I was envious at the foolish. Who was the foolish? Psalms 37, verse number 1. Fret not yourself because of evildoers. The evildoers was foolish. Neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity. And that's who he was envious at. He was envious against the workers of iniquity that prosper in the world. Truly God is good to Israel, even to those that have a clean heart. But as for me, my feet were almost gone. My steps are well nigh slipped. For I was envious at the foolish, at the wicked, at the evildoers, at the workers of iniquity. When I saw the prosperity of the wicked. For there is no bands in their death. Nothing holds them. But their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued, diseased like other men. Because they got enough money to go to the hospital and keep themselves healthy. Therefore pride compasses them about as a chain. Pride circling and compasseth them, holding them. They can't get out. Violence covered them as a garment. They in total darkness. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They mind and they understand. They look at nothing but the best. They have more than their minds could wish. They don't even have to wish for nothing else. They got too much already. They are corrupt. You envious at them. You teach your children to be like them, to be around them, to get what they got. They speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. Look at my house. Look at my money. I'm an education. I got good education. I'm a doctor. I got a PhD. I live. My house costs $330,000. I just bought me a Jaguar. They set their mouth against the heavens, against God, against the ruling class. Their tongue walked through the earth. That's all they talk to. Their tongue walked through the earth. Their tongue, their language is like the world. That's all they can talk about. Ain't no word in their heart. That's what that means. They don't talk about nothing but the world. Because ain't no word in it. Their tongue walking through the earth. Everybody listen to what they say. LeBron tongue walked through the earth. Trump's tongue walked through the earth. Talk back with Barack Obama's tongue walked through the earth. Beyonce tongue walked through the earth. Jay-Z tongue walked through the earth. Talk back with me. Hello? Oprah Winfrey tongue walked through the earth. Therefore his people return thither. Waters of a full cup are wrung out of them. They squeeze everything they can out of us, don't they? Michael Jordan squeeze everything they can out of us. We teach ours to go out there and be with them. And then ours join with them and they try to squeeze everything out of us too, don't they? Oh, yeah. Damn right they do. Yeah. And they say, how do God know? They have no knowledge. Did we just read it and say they have no knowledge? They don't know God. There ain't no God. How God know this? We on the earth. God ain't down here. They speak like deists, don't they? Yeah. You see how you can't get rid of deism? They deists. They acknowledge a God, but they don't believe in the God, do they? How do God know? They're acknowledging the Most High. He don't know what's going on down here. He's not concerned with the earth. He has left this to us. You better get yours like I got mine. Verse 12 says, these are who? The ungodly. That's who talk like that. They have no God. These are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They did. They increase in riches. And then this is what we say. Well, then what we obeying God for? And this is what he said. He said, verily I've cleansed my heart in vain. Because he thought by being obedient to God, he would get the prosperity of the wicked. And that's what we thought. Our expectation was wrong. Yeah. We expected in serving God that God would give us money and stuff in the world. And now we don't get into the narrow dose ministry and we don't found out we ain't getting it. We say, uh-oh. That's why many get up and leave. That's why many get up and leave, right? That's why many get up and walk away from God. Because they thought that they were supposed to prosper in the world. They thought verse number 4 through 12 was going to take place in their life. That's why they joined the church, right? Why do you want to? This is why people join the church. Verses 4 through 12. You can put, this is why people join the church. Just write it in the margin. Don't use up all your space because you might need to put a definition in. I told you. You can write it down at the bottom up under there, up under that line. This is why people join the church. Verses 4 through 12. This is why people join the church. Why do people join the church in verses 4 through 12? That's why people join the church. And then when they find out why they ain't going to happen, uh-oh, Lord have mercy, I made a mistake. Too late. But it ain't too late. You can leave. It ain't too late. But this is what they thought when they joined the church, right? This is what people thought when they came to the narrow dose ministry. Your expectations was not met that you thought God was going to meet when you came here. This is right here.
Teach us godliness is gain.
Amen, Mom. Amen. They teach you godliness is gain. This is what they thought.
That's what Minister Robinson used to teach us, that the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous.
No, it's not. The wealth of the wicked is the spiritual riches. Well, who was the wicked? Israel. Their riches was laid up for us. Hello? Yes, they was. Old Testament Israel was wicked. God laid them treasures, them riches up for the Gentile, for us.
Yes, he did. Amen.
Hello?
Amen.
Yes, he did. But this is why people join the church. Y'all know why. 4 to 12. Verse number 12. These, the ungodly who prosper in the world. There you go right there. You prosper in the world, you are what? Ungodly. Man, they increase in what? Riches. Yeah, they don't get nothing to nobody. They keep increasing in riches, man. And so he said, dang, I thought I was going to increase with you when I obeyed God. That's why he said in verse 13, verily I've cleansed my mind in vain. I cleansed my mind in vain. I washed my hands in innocence. For all the day long have I been plagued and chastened. You ain't plagued and chastened, you ain't in the church. You got to be plagued and chastened to be in the church. For all the day long, these sheep counted for the slaughter. All the day long, these sheep.
Amen.
Sheep is plagued and chastened every morning. For all the day long have I been plagued and chastened every morning. If I say I will speak thus, behold, I should offend against the generation of your children. When I thought to know this, it was too painful for me until I went into the sanctuary, Kodesh. Until I went into the sanctuary, I went into the church, walked in the spirit. Then understood I therein. Whose in? The ungodly that prosper in the world. The mouth of hell. Hell has enlarged itself, right? That's right. For who? For the wicked, for the ungodly that prosper in the world. Verse number 12. Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches. Verse 17. Until I went into the sanctuary of God, then understood I therein. Whose? The ungodly who prosper in the world. It says, surely you did set them. Ordained. Didn't I just read he ordained it?
Yes.
I just read it. It said not because it is the glory of man to have a will of his own. We know that it must be so. Such is the order which God has appointed for the life of man. And this order is expedient. We know that it must be so, seeing that he has ordained it, and we can perceive moreover why it is so he can send them to hell. Somebody gotta go.
Yeah.
You ain't making for nothing.
Let them telling everybody going to heaven.
Preach. Mouth of hell has enlarged, he said. Until I went into the sanctuary of God, then understood how there is. So you don't got to be envious at Michael Jordan and LeBron James and Trump and Beyonce, all of them out there with that money. Man, if I had that money, if you ever said if I had that money, man, that's you envious. If I had that money, I'll give it to the church. You a lie. You ain't going to give me nothing. You ain't going to get a church nothing. You know it. Well, take that doggone money and live your life and throw me $200, $300, put a little $150 in the church, and the rest of it you're going to live for your damn self. You hypocrite. You ought to repent for thinking something evil like that. Hello?
Amen.
It's crazy. Well, what you going to do? You're going to do just like Washington did. Everybody told me that. Like, well, we get some money for the church, 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 for the church. Well, I know you lying. You know you lying. Your heart deceived you. Yes, I am. I really mean it. I know you do. Surely you did. Set them. They don't even know it, do they? They don't even know God put it. They don't know him. It told you right there in verse number 11, and they say, how doeth God know, and is their knowledge in the Most High? They don't know. They don't know. They don't know God using them. Did the Assyrian know? No, he didn't know. You can be sitting here and don't know God is using you, fatten you up, so it can be just when it send you to hell, because you ain't got no obedience going on in your life. And don't even want to do nothing. Keep lying and lying and lying and lying. Every week you tell a lie. And you ain't doing nothing but just adding sin to sin, sin to sin, sin to sin, sin to sin, sin to sin. You just won't shut your mouth. Just won't shut up. And you can't. You want to, but you can't. Because God already just for you. Ha ha. That's scary.
It is.
That you want to stop doing something. And it's scary when you want to stop doing something you can't stop.
You can't stop.
You got a desire, you want to stop so bad, but you can't. And he won't stop. You know why? Because he know you're not sincere. You just want to stop it so you can shine. You don't want to stop it so you can get the glory out. You want to stop it so you can say, see, I told you I'm a Christian. You don't want to stop it being the sinner and live for him so he can get the glory. You want to get it so you can boast and brag. God will set you a slippery place. Surely you did set them in slippery places. You cast them down into destruction. Hello? Mouth of hell and lot. You see what he did? How are they brought into desolation as in a what? They are utterly consumed with terrors. As a dream when one awakens, so, O Lord, when you awake, you shall despise their image. What they have set up, because they in idolatry, aren't they? Thus my mind was grieved, and I was pricked in my emotions and my feelings. So foolish was I, and ignorant.
Amen.
I was as a beast before you, stupid, just plain stupid. Nevertheless, I am continually with you. You have holding me by my right hand, because I would slip too, right? Yes, he would. That's why he said you hold me by my right hand. When you put their feet in slippery places, you let my hand go, I would slip and went into it too. And thank God I'm holding your hand.
Amen.
You shall guide, look at this, you shall guide me with your counsel. Afterward, receive me to glory. Who have I in heaven but thee? And there is none upon earth that I desire beside thee. My flesh, my heart faileth, but God is the strength of my mind. God is the strength of my mind. God is the strength of my mind. My mind failed, my understanding failed, but God is the strength of my mind when it fails.
Amen.
For lo, and my portion forever. For lo, they that are far from you shall perish. You have destroyed all them that go a-whoring. Left the ministry. Oh yes, they did go a-whoring from him, didn't they?
He did. He
It
did.
is good for me to draw near to God. I have put my trust in the Lord, God, that I may declare all your word. Lord, we thank you for your word, because